Hello guys, how are you doing? It's your boy Dave. Welcome to this third video where we talk about investor, what you have to do to prepare to meet investors. Okay, so let us look at this third video. Now, before the pitch, it says get someone to introduce you to an angel investor, okay, or VC. Cold calling or cold emailing them usually don't work due to the many such emails they get. Now, if it's a VC, VCs get a whole lot of emails, a whole lot. So if it doesn't mean that the one that you're going to send will be lost, you should keep sending, alright? So, but sometimes it's better to reach out to key decision makers or get someone to introduce you. So if you know somebody that knows somebody, you could get them to introduce you. Another thing to do, like people do, is they find the people that are supposed to invest, send them an email or whatever. If they don't respond, they go and ask their friends, who can introduce me to this person? Like I once had my friend who said, who can introduce me to Dangote? You understand? A friend believed he had a product for Dangote, and probably he has emailed Dangote, no response, done everything, no response. What did he ask? He asked, who can introduce me? And he asked it on a Facebook group, and if I can remember clearly, somebody chatted him up, said, okay, let's chat inbox. Alright, so sometimes if you reach out to these investors and no reply, there are other things you could do, like get someone to introduce you. Another thing is, if you get somebody in a good position, you can ask them, we're looking for investment for our companies. Do you know anybody you can introduce us to? You know, it's different from asking them for money, which many people mistakenly do. You see somebody, you say, hey, please, my grandchild is dying and my great grandmother fell and broke her leg. Please give me 5 million naira to fund my business. Most people will never talk to you again after that. But if you tell them that we're looking for 5 million for our business, all right, and we are prepared to give out some equity, do you know anybody that you can introduce us to? So do not hold back at asking people to introduce you, especially when you attend some of those high value events. Even in weddings, you find the right high value person. Okay, you can tell them, or you can just prepare a small write up, put your phone number in a sheet of paper and forward it to them, even if they have security. Hey, we have a startup in so and so field, and we're looking for 5 million naira for 10% equity. This is my number. Help introduce us to someone who can do this. Period. Just 3-4 lines. You give it out to them. They said over 87% of investments come from introductions, especially in Silicon Valley. Most of those big companies that have money, they don't just want to invest in random companies. It happens sometimes, but they prefer when it comes through somebody that knows them. All right. Now, know your investors. That's the second point. Know your investors and know your investors and their investment criteria before sending it to them. Make sure your startup matches the kind of startups they invest in. Okay. Now, there are 3 major categories of startups that investors fall into. Some investors will only invest in startups that are at the seed stage. Okay, seed stage. It's also kind of called there is seed stage, though there is early stage or post seed. That means they have raised their first capital. There's growth stage. That means they have raised some capital and they are growing. Maybe they have not made profit. You know, they are profit stage investors. You have made profit. There are some companies that are making profit, but the profit is too small. Okay, it's very marginal that they are not able to expand the way they want. So even though they are profitable, they still need extra investment. All right. So there are investors that only invest in such. Like if you are in my Telegram group, I posted one the other day. At least 2 people reached out to me. These investors have $10 million and they are looking for people that have made some sort of profit that they will support with the $10 million. They are foreign investors. Okay, they're looking for Nigerian companies and they have 10 million. So they're not looking for seed stage. What is seed stage? Seed stage is any company that has received their first investment. Okay, even if it's just 1 million naira investment, you are in seed stage. Some people will just go and convince their uncle to give them 1 million so that they can just enter seed stage. Now there are idea stage. Idea stage means that you don't have anything on ground. All right. Idea stage means you don't have anything on ground at all, but you have the idea all well figured out. You present them in your PowerPoint, and there are companies that invest on idea stage. Okay. Now there are prototype stage. Prototype stage is when you have already built your prototype. Let's say you want to build a certain let's say steering wheel for cars. You have an idea to build a better steering wheel for cars, and you have designed this. That's idea stage when it's on paper. But if you actually contact a Chinese manufacturer, and this Chinese company is able to take that your design and put it into reality and send you copies, let's say send you 5 copies of your design, you have entered prototype stage. Now if you are looking for investors, you look for the investors that say we are investing in prototype stage. Okay, if you get investment, so the thing with the journey is that the more you progress on your own, the more likely that you will get investment, and the more companies invest in you, the more likely that other companies will invest in you. Okay. Now there's another type of businesses that you can categorize investors into. That is size and capital. Some investors will say that we can only invest in companies that are $1 million and less. Like I was watching Shark Tank the other day. One person brought out a very wonderful idea, but most of the Shark Tank investors declined to invest until I found out that he was asking for more than the size of capital that they want to invest in. He was asking for $2 million, and these Shark Tank investors typically invest $50,000, $100,000, $250,000 to companies. You understand? That's what they typically do. So for somebody to come and demand $2 million is just beyond them. That's like at the rate of $100,000, that's about a whole lot of companies that they would have invested in. So they decline because of size of capital. So sometimes when you're reaching out to investors, you do a little research on their website, because they will usually state it that we are investing in companies that fall into this category. Make sure that yours falls into that category. Now this doesn't mean that sometimes you can't break that norm. You can tell them, hey, I know that you invest in mining startups, like Samuel just said on the chat, but I know that you invest in software solutions, but I have a mining startup, and I'm pretty convinced it's going to also make sense for this your other business. I've seen the businesses you invested in, and there is this particular one that I feel that can work together. Alright, look through my PowerPoint, and if you can't invest, can you put in a word for me to another investor? You might be surprised most investors know themselves. So don't just be limited by the category they stated. You can break the norm. Alright, but if they are not responding to you, you should know why. It's probably because they are not interested in that kind of business. Now, there are required metrics. Some investors can only invest if you have met some required numbers. Some will tell you that they need you to have made 100,000 naira or $100,000 in revenue. Okay, so this would give an example with steering wheel, or maybe a unique tailoring machine. You know, tailoring machine cost a lot. What if you came up with an idea of a design that built cheaper tailoring machine, cheaper and more efficient, or whatever? Okay, so with that, you can actually some investors will say that we don't care what you have designed or how amazing it is. We want to make sure that it's already selling in the market, and you have made at least 50 million naira selling it. Not profit though, just sales, before we can invest. So some will say 100, some will say 5 million naira. Some will say that it has, let it be that you have made some sales at all. So those are the things, the kind of things you check out for in investors before reaching out to them, and it's usually stated on their website. If you get that my sheet that has over 500 contacts, you will see their links to their websites. Okay. Now finally, I've talked about dressing. Most times you're going to pitch and ask for millions. You don't dress like one Alhaji like that. You know, even native wear, you should be careful putting on native wear, because something you think that looks really nice under Nigerian culture might look awkward to a European man or a US or a Japanese investor. There's a South African company that got investment from, is it Toyota or so? So you need to be careful with what you dress like. Smart casual is good, you know, smart casual is fine. If you're going to push that, you can put a coat or jacket or suit on top of it. If you wear complete suits, it's fine, but you're pushing it already. Just know that most of those rich people, they are not into suits. But if you're pitching to someone like Dangote, you know, Dangote wears suits every now and then. So it might be okay for you to attempt that. But generally, you can't go wrong with smart casual. Never. Okay. So, but it doesn't mean that you can't dress according to the product you are trying to convince them to buy. So if I was selling a fashion item, I can dress in that fashion item so that they see it. Okay, like someone I saw the other day was selling wig, a specific patent design for wig skull cap. Okay, she had a specific design, and then you just put your wig on it. So she was selling it, and she was able to she put it on. Okay, so if you are selling something about tailoring, for instance, the tailor design, yeah, you can wear native, very well designed native, so that they will see an example of what was done with that product. Okay, so there are no hard and fast rules with dressing. Just make sure that you dress according to the occasion. Okay, so see you in the next video, guys.